Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, I'm going to walk through the installation process for this factory OEM headliner in my 1998 Subaru Impreza RS Coupe. This is my little SubaruONLY shop. It's a DIY Subaru channel. It's a channel where all I do is Subaru builds and race Subaru vehicles and motorsport events. It's a DIY themed channel where I walk you guys through the steps to get your Subarus back on the road and hopefully do a little racing of your own. So thanks for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay guys, obviously the first thing you need to do before you install this headliner is you need to strip the existing headliner out of your car and have it all prepped and ready for this new headliner. And I'm going to show you guys right now. I actually have the interior completely stripped out of this car. As you can see, there's no door panels, no rear seats. I have the new carpet that I've recently installed, and you guys want to see how to install a factory carpet, check out one of my previous videos recently where I installed this carpet. And as you can see, I have no front dash components, or at least lower front dash components, no door panels, again, on the other side, and then up above, no headliner. And the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you remove everything, including the little factory light that goes right here, and the little factory cabin light that goes right here. Those cabin lights actually act as components that actually hold that headliner up. Have everything removed, the sun visors, the lights, the little clips for the sun visors, and of course, the existing headliner. Now, another thing I want to go over real quickly is how I actually restored this headliner. I actually cleaned and restored this headliner because when I bought it, this headliner was actually really filthy. And as you guys can see, as I pan over it, this headliner is looking really good now. It's actually completely cleaned. It looks like near new condition. You can barely see any stains or any kind of scratches or wear marks in it. Really, when you look close, this headliner is looking great. And the way I clean this headliner is I actually vacuumed it really well with a really good kind of shop vac with a bristle brush on it to get all the loose debris off of it. And then I actually used my shampooing carpet cleaner. It actually applies this kind of carpet degreasing kind of fabric cleaner and actually vacuums it up or sucks up that liquid with that dirty solution at the same time. And I went over it in 2 complete cycles, meaning I actually cleaned it really thoroughly with that carpet cleaner and then let it dry for a day. And then once it was dried, I actually went over and did a whole nother cycle again. Okay, and here's that little carpet shampoo cleaner that I used. Here's the brand, it's Bissell Spot Clean Pro. And you basically put hot soapy water in one side and you plug this sucker in and it's got a vacuum. It actually sprays that hot soapy water and loosens up the dirt and debris with these little bristles, and then actually vacuums it up and sucks it out and sucks out that dirty water and stores that in a dirty tank at the same time. So that's how these suckers work, and that's how I got this sucker so clean. And actually on the back side, I did a little bit of restoration as well. I'll flip this thing around to see if I can do that without hitting anything. This thing is kind of big and bulky. Okay, on the back side, there's actually this like really fine mesh material, and it was kind of delaminating, falling off everywhere. So I put just a little bit of spray glue on some of the perimeter of this little net mesh material and kind of held it down a little tighter. Here's where you can kind of see it popping up a little bit. So it's kind of hard to see, but somehow I got this like real fine mesh material that's like lining the backside of that sucker. So I put a little bit of glue to hold it down where it was kind of coming off altogether. And then on the front of it, on the front of this headliner, there's actually these big foam blocks. And these foam blocks are actually delaminating or peeling off from that headliner as well. So I actually applied a little spray glue to these guys and kind of reattached these little foam blocks to the headliner as well. That way they're on there really securely. They're not gonna flip off or anything once this headliner is installed, because these little foam blocks actually hold this headliner at the correct distance, and they're actually important to have this headliner actually function and look and work correctly. Okay, the next piece is all the components that we're gonna use to hold the sucker down. So let me go ahead and walk you guys over here and show you I have a whole assortment of overhead grab bars. These are actually the components that are gonna hold in a few of those points. We'll walk through each one of those as I kind of lift it up. And then I have, this is that rear cabin light switch. Here's that front sunroof and dual little cabin light switch. These are those little clips that are for the sun visor. You're gonna have new ones of these or clean ones of these. And of course, you're gonna have your rear view mirror. That actually has 3 screws right there that holds in this headliner. And of course, the little cap for it too. As you can see, I have them all cleaned up and ready to go. So this is gonna be a nice clean install. And then the sun visors. You're gonna need 2 sun visors as well. I have both my sun visors here ready to go. So that's basically all the components you're gonna need. You're gonna have to have your old headliner removed. You're gonna have all those components ready at hand to install when you put your new headliner in. You're gonna have to have your new headliner ready to go, all clean, ready to be installed. So the next step will be to lift this headliner into the cabin and actually install it. And I'm gonna start installing it with that first little component, which will actually be the center piece right here. I'm gonna install this light, this rear cabin light first, and that should actually hold this headliner from the middle of the headliner and give it enough support where I can actually start working my way around and installing all the other components that are gonna hold this headliner up. Okay, now there's definitely a little bit of a trick to get this headliner into the cabin of the car. The first thing you want to do is obviously open that door to its fully open position. And then the trick is you're gonna have to orient the headliner with a moonroof in the front, or if you don't have a moonroof, obviously ignore that, just orient it with the front towards the front of the car. And then you're gonna actually get down and twist it around and get the rear end in first. And slide that rear end into the cabin. And then just kind of slide it in and then rotate it 90 degrees once you kind of get it into the cabin so that it's in position. And that's the easiest way that I've found to get this headliner into your cabin so you can start getting it up into position and bolting it up into the roof. Okay, I mentioned we're going to start by installing this center switch first, or this center rear cabin light. It's a really good central point. It's going to be a great starting point to hold the headliner up, and then we'll move around to the perimeter of the headliner and install all the other components. And basically the way this thing works is you have this little lens that you need to pop off first. So pop that lens off so you can get access to the two screws behind it. And there's actually two little screws right here. You can see them. There's one right here and then one down there on the bottom left. And you're going to screw those in to the cabin. And of course, you also have a little plug right here. This little plug, it's a two-prong little plug. That plug is going to plug in right here into this little plug. So you plug into that plug, and you're going to screw into this little screw hole right here and that little screw hole right there. And those will be 2 points where you screw the sucker into. Kind of work this sunroof trim area around this little seal. You gotta get behind that little seal and get up underneath it. You should be able to kind of like just barely get behind it if you're in the right location. But don't force anything, just kind of slowly work around the perimeter and just get underneath that sucker. Incidentally, I think I was just looking on the Subaru dealership parts inventory databases, and you can actually still get these sunroof seals, this black seal right here for the sunroof, available from the dealerships. Pretty fucking cool. Alright, once you get that sucker in, lined up, I've already started to screw just slightly. Should be able to nice and smoothly snug that screw down. Honestly, the most important thing is you never want to force any of this stuff. If it's lined up right, it'll go in. If it's not, don't force it. Get both screws in. This first little cabin, rear cabin light. Just kind of snug it in, and then you're going to work your way around. So I'm going to work over here and go over here to the first location, which will be the driver's side or the left side sun visor. I'll put that in, as well as a little clip for the sun visor. And then I'll move over here and I'll do that sun visor switch panel and those little cabin lights, those front cabin lights. And then move my way over here to the sun visor on the passenger side. And then move my way over here to these two little holes. And these two little holes are for the overhead grab handles. So you install those, and those actually have screws. So those are really solid, rigid points because you're gonna grab those and pull yourself in and out of the car. So those are really heavy duty, thick gauge screws that hold those in. And those hold the headliner in as well. So you work your way and put that handle in, you put this handle in, same thing over here, handle over here. Since you're on the driver's side over here, for US domestic cars, these actually don't have a grab handle. They just have like little plugs that go over here. And that's fine. This corner doesn't really need the additional support to hold the headliner. The headliner has plenty of support from this handle and the front sun visor. So I'm going to start working my way around and get all these different components installed in this headliner to completely secure it up in the roof of this cabin. All right, guys, let's take a closer look at this sucker. Basically, I've installed all these visors and components. You can kind of see where this visor bolted in, right there. This little clip right here just pops in right here. That doesn't have a screw or anything. That's where I have the sunroof motor switch and those front lights. And then of course right there, the rear view mirror and the little trim plate on it. Looking really nice and flush. And then moving over here to the passenger visor. Bring that down, you have that little clip right there. It's looking good and flush. And of course the two screws right there that hold the corner in of that passenger visor. Okay, I want to talk about these really quick. There's actually two types of grab bars for these Subaru Imprezas. This is the ones that go in the front. They're a little bit more flatter design, and they can be pulled down so they pop out. And right now I have the clips over here on the side, or the plastic end plates kind of on the side. These actually slide over and cover, kind of like this. Like that, boom. So that's how you kind of pull these back, is they kind of bend down. Right there is a screw, you can kind of see where it screws in. They bend down and kind of slide over the handle right here. So you can slide those back over, and then they clip over, and then they just snap in place once you're over there, like that. So those are the front ones, and those ones right here, they sit a little flatter, a little flusher, and they can pull down and have that lower drop down position, and then they can pop back up. So that's the ones for the front. And then the ones for the rear are a little bit more of a static arch design. They don't pop down and up or anything. They have these little access ports you want to pop down. And one thing you want to remember is they have a little notch on one side. And you want to make sure that notch is facing towards the inside of the cabin, so you can actually get those out at a later time. That's how you pop those back out and take those screws out in the future. And then this is that center light in the rear of the cabin, looking nice and flush and good. Oh wow, actually even has power to it now. That's nice to check. Looked a little dim, I'd say. And these are those screws for the other passenger. This is on the driver's side, the rear seat grab handle. Again, this little thing with those little notches towards the inside of the cabin. Moving over this one, snap that one in place, and boom. And those looking really nice, really flush against the headliner. I got a plastic clip right here that's missing that I need to find from the junkyard, and I'll show you guys the other plastic clips. Okay, I spun around to the back. This is actually the back, a rear view mirror right here. And these are the plastic clips that go in the back of that headliner. So they basically clip into the roof, and they actually are supporting the headliner and holding it up into the roof as well. So that's what those little plastic clips look like for the rear of the headliner. And then over here on the driver's side, there's a little bit different shaped plastic clip. This is the shape of the plastic clips on the driver's side. They're a little bit more of an oblong or oval shape. I got these from the junkyard as well. These are the factory OEM little plastic clips. So look for those oblong or oval shaped plastic clips for the grab bars for the driver's seat. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it there for today. Thanks so much for joining me while I install this headliner in my 1998 RS Coupe. And this installation process will actually work for any of the 1993 through 2001 Subaru Imprezas. Doesn't matter if you have an Outback Sport, or a sedan, or a coupe, or any of the different style Subaru Imprezas that are out there. All the Subaru Imprezas actually have the same design and same shape for the roof headliner, and the installation process will actually be the same for all the different models and all the different body styles. So thanks again for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or any comments, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section. If you guys need any parts or any tools or any special equipment for your Subaru, make sure you check out my SubaruONLY Amazon store, and you can find a link in the description below. I hope you guys have been enjoying this restoration of my 1998 Impreza RS Coupe. Thanks again for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. My name's Luke, and you guys have been watching the SubaruONLY Show.